Hey everyone, Sarah here. Welcome to Sarah's Tech Let's Talk Apple. Well, the WWDC or Worldwide Developers Conference keynote is over, and as expected, we got all new versions of all the new softwares and a couple of hardware updates too. Here's what's new in all the software and hardware announcements. iOS got several new features, some of which we were expecting, but not all of them. We got the Journal app, which we expected. We got the lock screen improvements, which they called Standby. Now, we got also the ability to get a transcript as a person is leaving a message, and you can pick up while they're leaving that message rather than have to call them back. Got a new, what they call a contact poster, which is essentially you can make it like a picture of you so that that appears when you call somebody and they call you, and you can make alterations to it. iPadOS got several new features. We got the Health app from iOS onto iPadOS. Like iOS, we have a new journaling app. Also, you can turn your lock screen into a bit of a smart home display. You have the widgets on the lock screen as well, and you can change the wallpaper on a lock screen like we could do with the iPhone currently in the different focuses. You can also have multiple timers on that lock screen, and we can work with PDFs both in Notes and outside of it as well. Well, WatchOS got some of what we expected. We did get some of the redesign. For example, we did get the scrollable widgets, and we did get a couple new watch faces, Palette and Snoopy. If you use your watch for exercising, such as cycling or hiking, you got a couple new features added to that. The mindfulness app that is on your iPhone or iPad also got added to the watch. It can also monitor the time one is spending outside as well as the screen distance. tvOS and HOMEPODOS were both minor updates, but that's to be expected. Apple doesn't usually devote a lot of time to these. So with tvOS, we do have a new control center. Your memories can be used as your screensavers, and FaceTime has come to it. With HOMEPODOS, you have adaptive audio, AirPlay, which can now learn your preferences and will be in hotels later this year. And if you have a car that has CarPlay, SharePlay is coming to that. We got several new Macs announced today, one of which was the 15-inch MacBook Air. As expected, it has an M2 chip in it. We've got a better display and an 18 hours battery life, 50% better than a current PC that's compatible to it. Also, you've got several Thunderbolt ports and a headphone jack on it. As far as starting price, that's $1,300. Another new Mac we got today was the Mac Pro. As expected, we do have M2 series chips in it. In this case, M2 Max and M2 Ultra, and design has not changed a bit. As far as starting price, you're looking at $7,000. Today's WWDC was monumental for one reason. For the first time since the Apple Watch, we have a brand new category that Apple stepped into, their AR/VR headset. Now, they named this VR headset the Vision Pro, and their OS for it is VISIONOS. As far as pricing, we all knew that this was going to be expensive, and there were talks of it costing $3,000. There were talks of it costing $1,500, but no one saw this coming. Apple is charging $3,500. Now, the Vision Pro will not be available in stores till sometime early next year, which for Apple, that generally means about March. But we'll see as far as that. They haven't given us any more specification. In regards to what to expect from it, Vision OS has a feature called Eyesight, which lets people see your eyes even when you are in it. It works with all of your other accessories like your keyboard or your mouse. You can bring your Mac into it as well. Now, and you can also have your FaceTime on it, and the FaceTime will be life-size. The camera is a 3D one, and it does what they call spatial video. As far as battery life goes, all day if it's plugged in, if you're running on just the battery pack, that's a 2-hour battery life. It uses your eyes for ID like our phone uses our face, but they call this one optic ID instead. In regards to Vision Pro, as far as to how it runs and what's running it, we have an M2 chip, and we also have an R1 chip inside. The R1 is a chip specially made for the Vision Pro. We have the expected dual 4K displays and the multiple cameras. As we also already knew, it is controlled purely by hand gestures. Unlike the Quest or the Oculus, you don't have separate controllers. And as previously mentioned, we do have an external battery, and once again, if you're running purely on that external battery, that's 2 hours. Your home screen shows your app display. All apps are movable and scalable. You have a new feature called Environments. Also, since your controls are your hands, you tap your fingers together to select, or you flick them to scroll. A lot of Vision Pro is done by looking at something. One of the things that is done by looking, as far as controlling it, is search bars. If you are trying to search for something, look at that search bar, and then you can just speak what you want to type into it. Lastly, in regards to the Vision Pro, we are talking about a brand new platform. That's a brand new app store. There will be apps that we already know from macOS, iOS, IPADOS, and probably WatchOS on there already, but as they said in the keynote, Apple is having developers make apps specifically for this particular device. Every new WWDC, we get new software. And with that new software, sometimes Apple decides to cut support for older devices. This is not every year, but it does happen. This year, they did decide to cut support for some devices. So here is everything that's compatible to everything that was announced today. iMacs 2019 or later, iMac Pros 2017 or later, MacBook Airs 2018 or later, MacBook Pros 2018 or later, Mac Pros 2019 or later, Mac Studio 2022, which was essentially the original one, and the Mac Mini 2018 or later. As far as the watches go, as long as you have at least a Series 4 or either generation of the SE, you're okay. As far as phones go, as long as you're carrying at least an XS, you'll get iOS 17. As far as iPads go, if you have a Mini 5, a regular iPad 6, an iPad Air 3, and any Pro except for their original 12.9, you're okay. All of the developer betas are out now, and the public betas will be available sometime in July. Of course, the final versions of all the new softwares won't be available till mid to late September when the iPhone 15s are out. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Sarah out.